the truth.
I gotta do my job, don't I? Hi, I'm Jim Price. Blah, blah, blah. Hey, guys. Let's try that again. I'm Jim Price, Jim Price Show Daily Update. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Oh, hey, the government told me what the date is, so I can never be wrong. Right, government? You're the best. We'll call it April. Golly, what happened to April? We're going to say May 7th. It's a Thursday. Trash day right here at the Price House, 2026. So, guys, thank you so much for being here. Yeah, the government, I mean, they're doing a great job. I think the whole date change thing is awesome. It makes my life a whole much better, and I love that daylight savings time thing. It's, whew. You know, it's only 2018 in Ethiopia. I don't know. It's cool stuff. All right, quick things of the days. Now, I did today I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge the title of the day, and I called it Childish because I'm looking around at a lot of what we're doing here, and I'm going, my God, how old are you? Like, what are you doing? Like, we have this, there's some reports coming out from our government that we have leakers, and we've kind of all went through this before. We understand what leakers do and all that good stuff. We know, blah, 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 blah. But isn't that how we got the dossier thing and we got the prid pro quo? I'm so glad we don't say that anymore. The word dossier and prid pro quo, I never liked them as words. I don't know why. I kind of like they just kind of whatever. But then the fact that we had to use them over and over and over and it just got so old. So anyway, yeah, we got ourselves something else going on here. And this is where I really do appreciate about the other side of things, because when everybody else around you is asking really dumb things, you just like, what? Is this what you guys really, is this how you guys get to your conclusions? Because I can see how you end up in the wrong destination. It's like way bad. So anyway, let's see. On Wednesday, Trump sparred with a reporter in the Oval Office during a meeting with the UFC fighters. So the UFC fighters are came to the White House because the 4th of July, they're going to be doing UFC fights and a lot of different pop and circumstance stuff that's going to be going on in D.C., which, I mean, granted, would be awesome to see. I wonder if I ought to do press passes for that. I bet I could do it. I bet I got stuff for the inauguration. I bet you I could get a press pass for the White House celebration for 250th. In fact, I got the invitation to go to the White House inauguration. I didn't actually have to ask. I wonder if I could do that. I wonder if that's a thing. I got to remember to do that. Hey, Luther Bradley, good to see you. Brenda, thank you for being here. So I'll have to look into that, see if I can come up with a thing on that, a little presser passe. See if I can get in. That'd be fun. I mean, I don't know, standing around watching UFC, fireworks. I'm sure there'll be a couple flyover, this and that. I would say, be honest with you, it's probably one of the safest places on earth at that time. Like, if you were trying to think of like, hey, I don't want to get blown up and, I want to be cool and stuff. I don't know. I would think D.C. might be it, or maybe it's the most dangerous place on earth. I have no idea. But anyway, going back to the article here, talking about the Oval Office UFC fighters. A reporter asked Trump about his decision to pause Project Freedom amid a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. And I love the gotcha questions. And I know people do that, and I'm sure I do it once in a while. I'll block somebody into a singular answer. But it is amazing that there is no open-end answers. There's no, hey, give me what your opinion is. And it's like you either agree with my opinion or you're wrong. Anyway, Trump told the reporter that the U.S. military has decimated the Israeli missile capacity, and they possibly only have about 18% left. Now, good, guys, listen, that I don't understand. That's cool. I don't know. Okay. I mean, this is what I don't understand. Like, okay, that's what you're saying. That's not the argumentative point, right? We want to talk about humanitarian. We want to make sure people are getting, food and shelter, right? No, we don't do that. You're facing an opponent right now in Iran that has refused to submit. Okay. Like, I don't know what you got. I mean, this is a thing where these people are asking these questions as if they are Iran, like as if they are the enemy. They are the Satan, the opposer of your life, the true, boogeyman. And this is what I feel. I mean, it's like, this is not like, hey, man, you said it'd be done on Friday. It's Saturday morning. Why is it now just getting done? Okay, call me on that. But this is the stuff where I don't believe they realize how destructive it can be or how destructive it really is when they do this. Anyway, that's just my opinion, my opine. Take it or leave it. Says, well, why do you say they refuse to submit? You don't know that. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors, Trump said. Now, again, I don't. And there's a lot of things that I get. There's people that still pull me into some little conversations here and there and give me little information here and there. But, I mean, as a guy who did almost 20 years of defense contracting, I've built some of the, I've done $500 million projects. I've signed $2.5 billion contracts. These are the things I did as a part of my everyday. And I will tell you, there's a lot of things that get done that people don't know what it is or what it's going to be or why it is going to be. And that's okay. And again, this reporter who has probably never, I don't know, maybe he's never been out of America. Maybe he's only been to Europe because it's safe there, or he thinks it's safe there. Maybe, but the problem is he's asking asking questions as if he's like, poking at like, yeah, I got you. Like, I don't know. It's just a difference for me, how I think about this. And that's why I just don't like how these reporters, especially since 2012, when we got rid of the idea of propaganda and fact-checking. There's no longer fact-checking in American media. It's not necessary. What has become fact-checking in American media is the internet. And I will tell you right now, guys, I feel the most safe on the internet. I would rather be here battling out with you guys over truth and trying to figure it out and get to something, here's what would really happen, who's here really said that, this is why it really is. It's like whatever it was Monday when I was talking about all the different holidays that are all made up. I mean, every holiday is made up. Not like it's like, oh, no, Jesus was really born, Jimmy. And I'm like, I got that. But he was born in September, not December. And because we have a Roman emperor who wants to placate the crowds, he moves Jesus' birthday over here to the new sun, to the equinox, the winter solstice. And then See, I like the internet for that reason, that they'll come out and they'll say, Jimmy, it's not right, September. It's not September. It's actually late August. Okay, cool. I didn't know that. All right, I got better information now. I'm willing to learn that. But where the legacy media sits in this lofty tower effect, and I get, hey, people are paying them zeros. I don't have a bazillion-dollar advertising budget to make sure to get the right programming out and the right, whatever tower of fortress in New York I have to be CNN or Fox or any of those guys. But I get that they're protecting their herd, they're protecting their dollars, they're doing their thing. But they are not protected from the internet. But the sad part of it is they act like the internet doesn't work. What doesn't work? There's nobody there. But there really is. And that's where the internet really works. I think this is why when we talk about the looking glass and the fact that they felt they could not manipulate or change history after 2012, I do believe that the problem was the smartphone, our ability to communicate freely and wildly, even abrasively and destructively to each other. There is still a lot of good that comes out of it because there's a lot of facts that get splayed out all over the place. Hey, Maggie O'Leary, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Remember, half of your grade here on the Jim Price Show, because we do keep track like the government. Half your grade here on the Jim Price Show is attendance and participation. The other half we make up because it doesn't matter, but it does go on your permanent record like your third grade attendance. So just keep all these things in mind. This is an interactive platform here. This is what we do for each other. All right, so this is like, so the report. So why would you say that they refuse to submit? And this is what Trump said. Then the reporter retorts back. He stopped Trump. This is the part where he stopped him, and he says, they were firing on U.S. troops a few days ago. Anyway, do you guys want to listen? We could do the audio if you want, or the audio video. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and pull it up here. I was reading it for you giving you the narration. Sorry, I was going off on a little bit, but I tell you, there's so much about these guys that just like, they want the boat that they're sinking on the boat they're sinking on to sink. The boat that they're on to sink, and I have yet to understand. Nobody on the Titanic is like, bring on the cold water! Hell yeah, bring it on, boys! Like, that wasn't happening. And I this is where we want to hold each other accountable. I'd like to ask Uncle Barry a whole bunch of questions about things. I want to know why the Islamic Brotherhood had places inside of his direct cabinet, actually had offices inside the White House, was on the White House plane, or the presidential plane all the time. The fact that Uncle Barry was walking around with stuff that looks like maybe he shouldn't have been with the whole Muslim thing. But again, I'm not the problem here, guys. I just want to ask questions. I want to ask him. And I want to ask him about why it is that him and whatever the marriage thing is they're doing, why it is they say they want to go into their golden years, but yet he can't keep himself out of anything. If Uncle Barry wanted to stay home, or he wanted to go to Disneyland and go ride a train and do the things on the Disneyland, if he wanted to go do that, then just go do it. Nobody's watching, bro. Just go do it. But when you sit down with Colbert the other night and you want to talk about how, well, I can't believe that there's human beings on this here earth that would ever use lawfare and in a political manner to take out anybody that is their opponent. I just cannot believe this, Mr. Colbert. Can you? Hey, Barry, if you don't want to be in politics, brother, then just don't. See, I don't run for politics because I just don't. One, they slaughtered me. They got me. I mean, they toilet flushed my financial ability and everything else, all the stuff. Bye-bye. Whole thing, I got it. And so I decided to do this because this is the level where I can be at. Would I run for office because I thought I can, or because I think I'm good at it? I think I'd be great at it. But do I think I can get in? Probably not. There are too many kids in the Cool Kids Club that do not like a guy like me saying, that's wrong, and you're right, and they're all wrong. Like, they don't want that. They don't want leadership. They don't want servant leaders, people who are willing to forget about themselves, to put the task, put the mission, put the team ahead of themselves. See, I think that's what wrestling teaches. I really do. I think there's a whole idea that there's a self-responsibility and a personal responsibility, and because you know how it feels to lose because of your own actions, you understand what it's like to have to listen to and see other people fail, so you work as hard as you can to bring everybody along with you, and you make sure that you put people in the right influential places to be the right people, but that also means you have to have discernment, and you're the right person in that moment when it gets tough, and you say, no, you're not a part of this, and you are wrong, and you need to move along, and that's what you do because leaders do things for the right reasons, not because it makes you feel good or placates to your emotion or whatever your mindset is. And that's where we are today. The placating, the giving in. Fathers create discernment, mothers nurture. Now, did I receive that? Probably not. Not in that order and not that way. But let me give you this. We know biologically women nurture, okay? They're really good at it. But men create discernment. Men create that pause in your head before you do something stupid. Before you put your booger hook up in your nose, you're like, maybe I shouldn't do this right here in front of everybody. Maybe I shouldn't be digging my hand in my ass right here on stage. Maybe I need to wait, for a second. Wait till I get off stage. I'm being a little facetious, a little funny here about it, but that's what dads do. That's where it starts, right? Dads start with, get your finger out of your nose, boy. What are you doing? Hey, don't be doing that. Well, come on now. But see, men don't get to say that. Men don't get to do that. But when men do that, it creates discernment in the children. The children become better. Mother teaches them how to be soft and know how to get through life a little easier because they have that nurturing effect to them. But at the same time, I'm telling you right now, guys, there is so much of this that we forget that the basic model of male-female is absolutely necessary in the success of people. I don't know, guys. There's a lot of us out there running around making ourselves very, very very, very, our life very, very complicated. Hold on a second here. Gary is, okay. Oh, is he on right now? Oh, shoot. Okay. Sorry. I will get them on now. Sorry about that. I had a guest coming on, but I had them scheduled at 4:30, but it looks like they are ready now. So let me get this pulled up real quick. Sorry, guys. This is what happens, and if you're not willing to, go on the fly here a little bit, it's life gets harder. Remember that movie with Jim Carrey, Yes Man, when he was doing all that thing where he just said yes all the time to everything. He's like, oh yes, yes, yes. He always just hey, I need to. You want to go running with me in the morning at 5:00? Yeah. You don't ever run, but you just say yes. So because someone asked you to do something, yeah, I need help moving. Yes. And and there is a certain part of that brings a certain amount of peace, and it really does, it really does make your life a little nicer. You know what I mean? Like there's a little niceness to that. But while I'm waiting for this person to jump in, let's see here. If you would rather call, let's see, I have the Zoom up. Now, if I had enough money for a producer and a tech guy and if I don't know, 3 or 4 people were here, this would be happening behind the scenes, and I just keep jibber-jabber-dooba-dooba-dabbered. And my name is Jim Price, and I talk about the days that are going on. So, anyway, all right, going back, let's go ahead and play this real quick for you guys while we're waiting for them to come in. This is the banter between the reporter and Trump, and I know I went off on the reporting side of things a little bit. But I just don't know. Are they on the same side as us?
You're facing an opponent right now in Iran that has refused to submit. You seem optimistic now as we may be closer to a deal. What's different about this moment now than in other moments where a deal has seemed close?
Well, why do you say they refused to submit? You don't know that. You don't know what's going on behind you.
U.S. ships a few days ago.
Yeah, I know. A few days ago is a long time ago. In the world of war, a few days ago. No, they want to make a deal badly. And we'll see if we get there. If we get there, they can't have nuclear weapons. It's very simple. But what's not to submit? So they had a Navy with 159 ships, and now every ship is blown to pieces and lying at the bottom of the water. They had an Air Force, lots of planes, and they don't have any planes. They don't have any anti-aircraft. They don't have any radar left. Their missiles are mostly decimated. They have some. They have probably 18, 19%, but not a lot by comparison to what they had. And their leaders are all dead. So I think we won. Now it's only a question of, look, if we left right now Iran, it would take them 20 years to rebuild. You would call that, we're in good shape, right?
Fantastic.
We're in good shape.
See, this is where I don't understand where it's like we all hear the same news. We're hearing these things. And by the way, guys, I would say the very reason that I do this show at the end of the day of all this is actually just trying to read between the lines, letting you know kind of what the verbiage really means on the back side of things. But it's when you've kind of been smacked around, and like I said, I got inaugurated twice here, so I've seen the machine. And when I've been smacked around, I just don't want to see you guys go through the wood chipper. It's not necessary. I went through it. It's not fun. I'm trying to put myself back. There's things I'm still putting back together, right? I'm making amazing leaps and bounds. But a lot of people can't survive that. There's a lot of people that end up, quote unquote, either dying or suiciding themselves. So it gets real sticky. But when this reporter creates that narrative that then somebody wants to clip out and do something different with it, the fact that you're stepping on the president, I mean, guys, can we not just give respect to like elders? Can we start with the basics again? Respect your elders. Not that you obey them and give in and placate to them, but the idea is that you at least let the man finish. But anyway, we've lost a lot of that. And again, that was destruction of the family home that started back in the 50s when we got fathers out of the home. We started calling them drunks and abusers and came up with all these different things. And then we found our way to get God out of the home. And now here we are. We're all trying to figure out why it doesn't work. And that guy right there doing what he did would never have happened 50, 60 years ago because people didn't treat each other that way. And it's just the simple stuff. He can ask the question. But does he have to ask the question in that way? Does he have to try to make it to where it's always this gotcha thing? And the fact that it's over and over and over again, guys, this is not our first term. This is not the first week. This is not the first year. And the sad part of it is like it doesn't end. And it's got to be dissatisfying on the other side of this. Now, let me get something real quick. I know we're going through a bunch of redistricting. That's all, folks. Oh, wait, Garrett's in here. Oh, let's see if we can get him on right away here. So I know that a lot of the redistricting is happening right now, so I want everybody to be thinking about that and we go forward. Garrett, are you ready to come on, sir?
Yes, sir. Here I am.
Okay, well, let me get you pulled in here so we're sitting together. And all right, there's your head, and then I gotta slide over here with you. But Garrett, can you go ahead and introduce yourself, and we'll chop it up from there.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Garrett Bryant, and I am the spokesperson for the Gen Z arm of Prayer at the Heart.
Very good, very good. Is there a website or something we can go to, or I can put in the chat here?
Absolutely. It's nice and easy. Prayerattheheart.org.
At the heart, at
.org. Prayerattheheart.org.
I just want to make sure I'm getting it. And you know, that's what I love about websites. I always feel like I don't know how to spell, and when I'm looking at it, it doesn't look right. It's like, oh man, is that an R or a Y goes in there?
Are these even words?
Yeah, I was like, well, because your mind starts rubbing it together, and then it starts seeing other words come out. You're like, okay, what is? Oh, yeah, so. Anyway, so Garrett, thank you for that. Now, you had a specific reason why you were wanting to come on. What was that?
Yeah, I'd love to talk with you about Gen Z,
Mhm.
what they're facing in culture these days, and how we can involve them in Prayer at the Heart's Million Soul campaign, which is a campaign to provoke 1 million people to pray for 1 million souls to be saved.
Right. Now, is this a 1 day event, or is this an ongoing? How does this work for you guys?
Yeah, the goal is from Passover to Pentecost. So
Mhm.
we're kind of in the middle of it right now, and it ends on Pentecost Sunday, which is May 24th.
Right.
So we're trying to get the million people in that time frame praying on behalf of the million unsaved.
So when you're doing this now, are you saying like we did like in back when I was in school, and I'm 54, I'll be 55 next week, but we would meet at the pole. That was a thing back in the
Yeah, see
80s.
you at the poll.
See at the yeah. So we would do at the lunchtime, or we would do it before the school at the. But is this similar to that? Are you expecting people to meet in places? Are you wanting them to go to the local churches? How does that work? When you say come together, are you saying just
Yeah.
how do they do that?
So, great question. There is a way to literally, or at least virtually, come together, and that's through the prayer wall, which can also be found on prayertheheart.org. And that's organized by state. So maybe you would be interested in praying for the lost in California. You can join others virtually in California and pray with them together. However, the overall initiative, the overall Million Souls campaign, is just the expectation of individuals to commit to praying
Mm-hmm.
every day on behalf of the lost, wherever they might be. So, not necessarily anybody coming together, although that is certainly encouraged.
Well, no, and so even in the Bible it says when two or more come together, I'm there with you. And then we know
Right.
physicists have proved that our 3 foot sphere of energy that comes from our heart, when we bind together, that amplifies. We double and triple our heart's strength when we're binding together. So why wouldn't God want to be where our heart is the strongest when we bind together and we are our closest,
Sure.
right? I mean, this
That's
is
exactly right.
we're going to use physicists, right? We're going to use a little math. We're going to use a little science. We're going to use a little God in there, and so we're okay. Let me ask you a quick question. Now, let's say I don't know the first thing about how to pray for a million people that I don't know, and I'm like, hey, I got to figure this out. So if I'm on your website here, is there a
Yep.
way to guide me through this, or how do I do that? How do I just? Is there examples of it?
Yeah, so that's another great question. Once you sign up on that homepage, there's a little sign up box. Enter your name and your email address as a signifier that you are committing to pray.
Hmm.
You will receive via email a 50-day prayer guide. Now, it sounds like a lot, but again, we're putting this into the whole 50 days between Passover and Pentecost. And what this does is provides you some language on how to pray and provides you some direction on how to pray. So if you feel stuck or if you feel unsure, this prayer guide is there to help you out through the process.
Right. So remember the plasticity, the neural plastic, the pliability of the brain, right?
Right.
That takes 21 days to start to rewrite. So in other words, the
Okay.
first 21 days, the first half of what you're giving them, they're just getting used. They're getting ready to start writing something on the page in the process of pattern in the brain, right? So the
Okay.
other 25 days is going to set a true pattern, right? So you're saying you're wanting them to do that in that 50 day, but what you're going to do is actually put a pattern to them that's actually going to create something that will seem normal, and
Yeah.
not doing it seems abnormal. So we do it like brushing our teeth with our right hand every day. If you want to see how programmed you really are, brush your teeth with your opposite hand. But also, you could program yourself to pray and give yourself that solitude and be able to have that concentration time with yourself. And you would be giving them that pattern, right?
That's exactly right. Turning this into a habit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, there's some psychological stuff and biblical stuff and some other science about having a little bit of time for yourself each day. It's not just biblical, but there are other reasons to do that. Now, for you, is there other things that this provides? Is there going to be things like study guides or references, or is it just you just want them to? Is this just a prayer guide thing for you guys?
The prayer guide is the main resource that we are providing, other than the prayer wall, which I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So yeah, as a part of this campaign, that would be the main resource.
Oh, that's great. Now, I was just wondering if there was actually like an auxiliary of what we could reach out to each other. Now, is in that same time, like during that, what happens after the 50 days? Will there be a continued effort for other campaigns? What happens then after that?
Another great question. It is up to the leadership of Prayer at the Heart. So I'm not sure if I'm going to speak definitively on this subject, but I do believe that the idea of praying and the purpose of praying for the lost should certainly continue beyond these 50 days.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just us being better for each other, right? I'm just
No
doing
doubt.
a little extra. I say on my show, the 10% we do for our neighbor, community, city, county, state, the federal government, the more you do for them, the less they do for you. The world will be a better place. And I also say a lot of times on the show, I said, well, if 8 billion people got up tomorrow and just decided to be 10% nicer to everybody, the world would be fantastic. I mean,
Oh my
almost
goodness.
instant. Just think about it. We're just 10% nicer. Everybody. Just try to do that all at once. It would probably make, I don't know, that would probably shake the earth. It would be
Yeah.
such an energy shift, right?
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, just to be 10% nicer. And you think that we were asking, when you say, hey, can you be a little, can you do that 10%? And they're like, I do 10%. No, come on, no, do 10%. And that's what we're like. All right,
Just a
so,
little bit more.
yeah, absolutely. So, Garrett, what got you into all this? How did you get started into the idea of this prayer thing? And is this something you got called into, or is this your project? I mean, where did all of this start for you?
Yeah, so I'm a part of this organization, Prayer at the Heart, but our leader, Dr. Doug Small, who is an incredible man of God and an incredible praying man of God, has taught me so much over the past few years about prayer, about good prayer, about being in the heart of prayer, which is worship. So many things, again, about prayer that I've learned from Doug Small, and he's kind of roped me into this. And I've been under his tutelage again for a few years and honored to be a part of this ministry, of this organization, and now of this Billion Soul campaign.
Yeah. Well, and so is there, if I wanted to volunteer, I don't know if there's volunteering in this, but is there ways that if I wanted to be a part of it, or if I wanted to come to a place, I mean, what can I do to plug into that? Or is it just really just the website interface?
It's really just the website and committing through that sign up page to let us know that you are 1 in a million praying for someone that you know that is lost.
Okay, very good. All right. Anything else you want to add before we get you out of here? I didn't know how long we had you for, so.
I'm just thankful for the opportunity to share and appreciate the time, sir.
Oh no, Garrett, it's been great. I mean, if you guys got something else coming up, like there's another event, or
Sure.
if you want to, if something you expand anything, get right back with us. We'll get you right back on. This is good stuff out there. So
You got it.
Thank you for doing what you're doing, sir.
Thanks again.
All right, we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Well, we got Garrett there. Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to jump him in the middle of that, but he was actually not supposed to show up for another minute. So we got him in and out before all that, so it all worked out. So no big deal there. All right, let me get you back to what I was going to show you before, which is what were we going to do? Oh, we were going to talk about redistricting. So let me get back to dead center here, because when I'm on the Zoom call, I got to lean over because I just don't want to change some of my settings in here when I do it. Anyway, so let's talk redistricting. And I know this is like, oh my God, Jimmy, it's so, the Democrats, the Republicans, they're so, yeah. The sad part of it is that contrary to Uncle Barry's perception of the warfare in which Republicans are striking out at Democrats in such violent ways with rhetoric that causes everybody to live in fear, I feel like I need to speak in a Shakespearean something or other toity voice when he gets in that. I know he's gonna say something really just like really arrogant. He has a tone and he kicks it in. It's all on that smooth. Yeah, the Republicans, they just gotta quit being like that. Yeah, they're just so violent over there, right, cat? I think he even said cat in the interview. Like he used a 70s reference. Like I'm an adult, early adult, cat. Like it was something he used. And I'm like, dude, you're not that much older than I am. Like, why are you using that reference? Like, what do you... Anyway, he was talking about we don't do lawfare, or, Democrats are just trying to meet in the middle, and, everybody's just kumbaya, and we're just waiting for the Republicans to quit hooting and hollering like a bunch of crazy idiots, and like, what's lawfare? Oh, I've never seen this in my life. We have you on documented pieces of paper in your own writing about the whole Russiagate. Sir, please don't. It just hurts my intelligence, and I don't have a lot of extra for you to use when you just act this way. And I appreciate that there's a lot of people out there that are not smart enough to catch that. And you just sound like smooth as glass, man. You're just, woo, I get it. But it hurts to listen to it, brother. You just got to stop. Now, this whole redistricting thing that's coming up. And by the way, he told Colbert to run for president. I'm like, oh my gosh, please do. I need it. I need him to be on the, I will have so much fun if Colbert is on the presidential ticket. Anyway, this redistricting thing, which has actually been started all by the Democrats, and it was actually the Democrats who caused the redistricting problem to be created because going into next year, we're going to have to do another census. And when we go to do the census, it needs to be a census of American citizens that are verifiable and that are American citizens only. Now, what happened is they got to include anything and everything, and it even talking about the old car in the back with no tires on it, and the dog, and the extra pigs in the yard, and a crow in the sky. I mean, they were including everything they could. I mean, I think they were double, triple counting. Like, hey, there was like 8 people there, right? No, 16. I mean, 36. 42. And I get it. Everybody wants to win. So please don't. I mean, I get it. We all want to win, right? And the thing is maybe this goes back to that wrestling thing, the coaching and all that stuff. When I would go out there with these kids, and it's like, and they knew, when I was out there with them, it wasn't about blaming the kid or blaming the coach or the ref or this or that. It's just, hey, we got to work this out, right? And maybe I just look at things differently. Maybe that's. But guys, we have people who believe that we are wildly cheating, and they're gaslighting even themselves to sit there and tell them that we are still cheating and we're doing these things. And there are groups of people out there that believe this wholeheartedly. But the sad part of it is I'm going to tell you right now, I've been pretty good about stringboarding a lot of things together, and I'm going to tell you right now. Listen, this is the one that I'm still stuck on. I think between 95 and 98 million people voted for Trump in 2020. Okay, and that's, guys, listen. There's not as many Democrats as there really is on the registers, and I'm going to tell you what I have seen the numbers. I have seen it physically. Have seen it. I watched it happen in my own election in 2016. I was up 36 points at close of poll, and I lost by 12%. I lost 40 points to day of ballots. Guys, the redistricting that is going on, and the Supreme Court has actually said that it's going back to the original style, because here's the problem. It took this long for all the redistricting and all of that census stuff to finally get all the way to bubble up to the Supreme Court, which has taken 12 years. That's why we don't feel like there's justice. That's why we don't feel like there's things really going on. That's why we're all sitting around here going, Jimmy, I have listened to you and I have tried to understand, and you just don't, and you don't understand what's really going on. And I'm like, I'm really telling you it sucks. And I'm like, yeah, I know it sucks. I get it. I'm living there. And this is the problem. But I will tell you, for some reason, in the last 3 to 4 years, that's meaning like we're a year and a half into this thing, and you know what I'm talking about here. In the last 3 or 4 years, the Supreme Court has been very active on some very specific things. Moving abortion back to states. Okay, what's the problem now? You have a state you live in. You work the law in your state. Don't make it an everybody thing. Make it a you thing. And if your state says, well, we only do abortions in Duck County, or we only do, that's fine, or we don't do it at all, then go across the state line like marijuana, like, it used to be Coors. You couldn't move Coors across certain state lines. Guys, that's only 40 years ago, 50 years ago. Coors moving. Listen, guys, we're not that bright. There's a lot of, we really aren't. Coors couldn't be, come on, that's what the Smokey and the Bandit movie, they even made fun of it about that. They were bootlegging, running beer across state lines. Yeah, there was a restriction for, I don't remember what it was. It was like you couldn't get Coors, like east. Like you could get it in Kansas, but you couldn't get it in Arkansas, or you could get it in Arkansas, but you couldn't get it in Mississippi or something. I don't know. There was some, and it was crazy. Back when I was in high school, when I flew on an airplane, they would serve me beer and liquor. And never carded me. And it was 18 and older. And they didn't give two shits. It wasn't a problem. But someone said it was a problem. Someone said it's a thing. Someone said it's this and that. And so now here we are. But the redistricting stuff, guys, is actually, the problem is it was actually being adjudicated 12, 14 years ago. And we're just now getting to it. And this is the leapfrog effect that we don't talk about in government, just like the midterm elections coming up here this fall. Now, there's a lot of things I see as positives, and I think a lot of this redistricting stuff is really a big part of this because it's necessary, because it actually puts the balance. And here, by the way, guys, I don't care if we just even out the maps to where there's 5 districts and they all have 25,000 Democrats, 25,000 Republicans, 25,000 Democrats, 25,000 Republicans. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty balanced. I mean, we're talking within 0.5% of each other, right? And if that means we got to do this because there's been some movement, we do it every 4 years, okay? You do it the year before the election. The off year, if it's going to be elections in 24, we do it in 23. Make sure it's done and everything's ready for 24. But see, that would be too smart. That would make too much sense. But no, we got to have all this, who's the legislator going to be? And, who's going to do this? And who's going to do that? And who's going to be the worst? And who's going to be the best? And then we got to watch people be their worst and not their best. Because when we say their best, we want them to be their worst. And we say their worst, that means we do want them to be their worst. So it's all negative. But instead of just saying, hey, every district has to have, so if there's 1 million people in your state, you got to have 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, so there's 10 districts, right? Why is that so hard? Why do we do these little squiggly weird lines? People don't live in these long lines that go horizontal nowhere for 40 miles. Like, it doesn't make sense. But the redistricting stuff, guys, again, the sad part of it is that I am so tired of the extreme takeover of something, and then it takes so long to try to get it back to middle. And then by the time you try to get it back to middle, it is so far askew from where middle was. It really is. It's all wasted. It's been adulterated. It's been abused, and it's not the same anymore. And why do we have to do that? Why do we have to go to such extremes to try to do something different? Why? Why do we need 12 years of education when we know that nothing after 8th grade is brand new? Why do you need 12. Oh, wait, no. How about a college degree for another 4 years? Oh, now we're into 16 years. Oh, wait, no, I got to get a master's and a doctorate. Here's another 3 to 4 years. 90% of your life is government education, government-style education, 90% of your life, and you say that you're an independent free thinker that has believed in things in all of your own volition. If you spent 90% of your time anywhere on anything, you're going to be the master of whatever it is, even if that's smoking crack. You're going to be really, really, really good at it, and you're going to really, really, really know what you're talking about because that's all you do. But yet you don't think education models who you are or turns you into something. But that's where this I don't think that we're getting, that a lot of this stuff is very manufactured, and it doesn't take people much past getting into their 30s or 40s and realizing a lot of the stuff they used to chase or give away, it's not possible. And I will tell you this, and at the end of the day, in the comforts of our society, especially America, the comforts that we enjoy is what are killing us. Soft beds make us sore. Not because we're relaxing, but because they make us sore. Lack of of movement, lack of getting out and doing something. They talk about sports activities, getting out and doing things, impacting jiu-jitsu, things, qigong, impacting the body, because we need the yin and yang. We need that push-pull. We have to have those things to be able to grow us and keep us what we are. We resist against gravity, and we look the way we do. My facial features, there's certain DNA structures of things, but if I don't resist against just gravity, my bone structure will go into putty. We know that. You turn into goo. You start rotting. You don't exist anymore. Bed sores, where that all starts, right? But see, we don't think about that we have to get out and we have to be aggressive and do these things. But I wish that we were out there aggressively doing things and change, and not trying to change, but trying to improve ourselves, not trying to discover new ways to be weird. I don't understand some of this stuff. We don't even cook a good egg anymore. When's the last time you went to a restaurant and you said, "Hey, I just need an egg"? And they're like, "You know what? That's our specialty. An egg." And literally, it's salt, pepper, butter, and an egg. And that's it. It doesn't have aioli. It doesn't have verkadipagukadoo. It doesn't have sprouts. It doesn't have something whatever. It doesn't need hollandaise sauce. It doesn't need ketchup. It doesn't need anything. It's just a simple egg with a simple piece of toast. No, I don't need whatever compost from whatever. No. Butter. Thank you. Or jam. You have just simple jam that's not, and then, what I'm saying? Like, this is, these expressions of all this luxury of things, it's like, again, I wonder, if the soft beds have made us to where we're not willing to fight back against things that we see that are wrong, which we know this redistricting thing was completely wrong all along, no matter which side you were on. You knew one side was being very abusive, whether you were the abusive side or the non-abusive side. You saw it. So this is the part where, because we've been so soft, because we're so sore, because we're so built up at all these things, we're not willing to fight even back on this. But at least there was someone. And I didn't have the money for it. I don't have that money anymore. That's all gone. That was another life ago. This is a new world here, and I cheer those people on. I have them on the show. I bring them on because I want to say, yes, go out there and help these people. But at least there was someone out there that wasn't me that was willing to go out and spend the millions of dollars to take this all the way to the Supreme Court. Do you realize that to go to the Supreme Court, there are numbers that are, it's not like you get there for $1 million. And it's not like I get there, if I go to, I'm going to do this case, I'm going to go to the Supreme Court with it. It's 5, 6 years, 12 years. Some of these cases that we're now seeing some of them are 20 years old that are going to the Supreme Court. Not because the Supreme Court's been sitting on them for 20 years, but because going up and down the appeals process and going in and out of litigation and then waiting on the response from the attorneys, but then waiting on the judge to get back, and then what the disposition of the guy, and it's all this, and there's enormous amounts of gaps of time, and funding could be an issue as well. But at least there was someone willing to go out there. Now, guys, the left will say, well, no, we're losing all of our seats. Oh, we don't have our seats. We don't have our thises and that's. And the problem with it is that you knew you didn't have them to begin with. So stop. Just stop. But see, we can't have that conversation because then they would have to admit that what they've been doing has not been real cool. Now, I will get that there's a lot of people out there that just want all this to quit and calm down, and it would be awesome if we did, and just get back to being different of each other. You're different, I'm different, we're differenter. We're different people. Okay, we do different things. But this idea that Uncle Barry is sitting around with gasoline and ash on his hands and talking about how he didn't set the fire. And I am, and again, that's the part that my intellect it is breathtaking to watch him say it. And I do believe that I think he's smart enough to know he's not being factual, but he knows he's saying it. So there's a lot about what we're living today that I wish that, guys, I think honestly we're probably dodged a bullet, a bigger bullet, by getting Uncle Barry in and then Mitt Romney not winning. There's some old guard stuff that we would be going through. You talk about going into the sticks and stone era of things. The Dick Cheneys of the world that I never liked him. I don't know when I had liked him, but he's always I just had that as a dude, just like, man, I just don't like this guy. I don't know what it is about him. And then the fact that one of his buddies gets shot and, blah, blah, blah. There's some stuff in there that Cheney was doing and that was way worse than I realized. But I was kind of on point. I was not so much on with the Bushes like I should have been. But here's the thing. We did go into a very soft, placating, very squishy era with Uncle Barry. But I will tell you that at the end of the day, there are probably some bigger bombs and missiles and blood that we did miss out on being shed. I know that Uncle Barry was a pain in the ass with the lawyers trying to dictate whether a shot can be fired in the in-theater moments. That's like trying to call in a police officer has a guy shooting at him at the car. Patink, patink, patink. Car 29. I got shots fired. Can you get with the lawyer and see if I can return fire? I'm in downtown. There's citizens around here. I'll just wait for your response. I mean, everybody in this that's listening to me right now thinks I'm dumb for saying what I was saying. And they're like, that's not how it works. I mean, you just shoot back. It's like, that's not how they did it in war. Now, granted, we were over there doing some goofy things that we shouldn't have been. Let's not talk about, Nimrod's tomb and all that stuff, right, Aunt Hillary? Secretary of State writing back and forth like nobody looks at your emails. That's a cool one too. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to talk about some of this and get that out about the redistricting stuff. There's a lot of sins on both sides of it, but at the end of the day, it is getting put back to where it really should be. And I think next year when we go to do the census, we really do need to be very specific on making sure that yes, you can count how many human beings are here, but we need to know how many citizens. But see, here's the thing: we do know, and Doge knows. This is the part where I think some people are playing these numbers and playing with all this stuff, and I think they're falling into a trap of fraud and some other things that are going to be coming out here probably even next year, that this whole thing with Doge, and remember the whole Social Security accounts, the 200-year-old person getting Social Security, all that cool stuff. Now, somebody was receiving those checks, but ain't nobody complaining those checks turned off, not even the bank that was processing the payments. See, this is a part where I need to know, I want to know who the bank was and why the bank was accepting money with it had to be someone registered that account that was 200 years old and they're cool with it, or who was the beneficiary of that, and why was that person able to withdraw that money? Why is that? Is those cases not getting adjudicated, or are those ones that we're just not listening to because they're not big enough fishes for us to catch the splash, right? I don't know. Hey, remember Elon Omar was attacked with a syringe full of apple cider vinegar, and she wanted you to think she was tough and brave, and she stood up against her aggressor. Remember that? That was just a couple months ago. Remember Minnesota? Ooh-wee. Yeah, that's the world we live in, but good stuff out there. So that I just ate Ferrero Rocher. Maggie, what are you doing? Is that Maggie or Brenda said that? Oh, anyway. All right, you guys, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Sorry, I'll stay out of the conversation next time. All right, guys, listen, there's a lot of this stuff that's going on right in front of us, and it doesn't get any easier. Now, listen, I have a problem again with gas prices that we're right at $3.99 here in Wichita, which we were down to $2.40 just 3 months ago, $2.40 3 months ago. So we're right at $3.99 right now. So again, we're feeling it, right? My problem is that we're not buying oil at global oil prices. We're buying our oil to make our premium. So we have sweet light crude that is amazing to make gasoline and jet fuel out of. So we get good gas here, really great gas in America, but then we put ethanol to screw it all up. Anyway, I really have a problem with the fact that our gas prices raise at all in any skirmish on earth, because we are exporting oil right now. We have so much dang oil, we're putting it on the seas. 175 tankers came in just here a minute ago. Okay, we're still doing that whole thing, supplying the earth. So we're okay with it. But why we should be kind of like OPEC over there, or EAU, right? Where we're getting 10 cents a gallon or something. Isn't that what like oil or gas is over there in the EAU, where their whole country just doesn't pay for gasoline or something? Golly, what would that be like? Holy crap. You imagine gasoline's like 10 cents a gallon? There would still be somebody out there. All right, if I have to pay 9 cents a gallon, I'm going to quit driving and go to electric. If we went to 9 cents a gallon, okay, whatever, bro. But seriously, why don't we? If we're exporting oil now, and we're selling natural gas by the buttload to Europe because somebody blew up the Nord Stream pipeline, I don't want to hear it was Ukraine. I don't want to hear... juice boxes would stop doing weird stuff around the world. I'd feel better. So let's just all quit doing things. Everybody quit doing the hokey pokey. Let's all just let's keep our seats. Anyway, that's going to be about it for me today, guys. It's been great seeing you. Remember the 10% we do for our neighbor, community, city, county, state, the federal government. The more you do for them, the less they have to do for you. Learn how to be selfless and not so damn selfish. The world will be a far, far better place. Remember, hold the line, hold fast. Do not give up. Do not give in. We'll win. I promise to make promise I can't keep, guys. You've always been the answer out there. Remember that little Constitution, that little thing where those guys all signed their name and all that? That whole thing where they like, hey, we're America, we're number one. Yeah, after they just got through bleeding. Guys, that's your authority right there. That limits your government. You never have to think about your government because you know that they are beholden to you. They are public servants, and if we don't behold them to that, then how the hell are they going to overlearn it? Guys, we don't do this, right? Because we're not good owners. You know why crappy dogs exist? Because there's crappy owners. Owners represent their dogs. Dogs represent their owners. Seriously. People buy dogs, and they're pretty much the exact mirror of themselves. Very few times, unless there's something in that dog's past that you weren't involved with or something happened, blah, blah, blah. But they usually represent the people they hang out. They're called pack animals. They represent their ownership. Anyway. All right, guys. If we don't hold our public servants to a model, then what are they beholden to? Well, the devil, I guess. All right, guys, that's going to be about it for me. Remember, hold the line, hold fast. Do not give up, do not give in. We'll win. I promise I can't keep. Guys, this is how it works. Simple as that. I just like that. I wish we'd do more of that stuff. We're not always doing that. Anyway, I'm rambling on. All right, guys, good to see you guys. Dave was out there. Maggie O'Leary. We got Brenda's kicking it around. A couple others out there, guys. I apologize. Oh, Hope was here too. All right, guys, I'm going to get out here. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. You guys will be good to each other out there, and I will see you.